Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the horror movie podcast where we make each other watch films the other guy hasn't seen, and then review them.
Each episode will have spoiler-free reviews, followed by no-holds-barred spoiler-full breakdowns. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about some scary movies. Hey there.
Well, hey, Steve.
Hey, Zach.
Hey. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing?
Well, Pee Wee Herman made a drive-by there.
I know, it's crazy.
Ah!
We said the word of the day, apparently. I don't know.
What are we talking about today? Are there horror movies and other things?
Yeah, I would assume that there are some of those things we're going to be talking about. There's,
do you want to continue talking about controversial politics like we were before?
Listen. Those don't necessarily classify as horrors yet unseen because we're watching them unfold.
They're horrors that we're seeing right now. Yes, okay.
We're watching them unfold in front of our eyes. So I don't want to see the ones we can't see. If I'm being honest.
Fair enough.
Because the ones that we can see are too horrific. So, yeah. You can watch your Newsmax or whatever you're going to watch.
I avoid that kind of thing.
Yeah. Let Alex Jones tell you what is going on in the world. Those are jokes. Those are jokes.
I know, it's still hard.
That's the point, is that they're how do we get out of this hole? I don't know how to get out of that. This freaking vacuum.
I'm doing my best to avoid reality when I can, and as long as I can.
Yeah.
So I recommend the same.
I have fully immersed myself in the soap opera drama that is WWE wrestling. Like just to
have some semblance of reality.
Melt away out of what's happening, because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I need some other distraction. Yeah.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah.
So which distractions did you distract yourself with this week?
Well,
if you would like to share.
Yeah, I would love to share. Did I literally not write that down? No, you just gotta scroll up. Okay, here we go. I watched this show on Netflix, How to Become a Cult Leader. Very curious about the psychology of really everyone at the end of the day. I'm very I wanted to get back into true crime.
Right.
I wanted to get back into some true crime stuff, but I couldn't really find, like, Netflix.
Was it like too hopeful, so you went to How to Be a Cult Member?
Well, no. It's more like I couldn't find anything that interests me. Like, I think Netflix has that Gabby Petito documentary.
Oh, right.
And I was like, no, that's too sad. Because, like, I was too invested while that was actually happening. And I'm like, this is just sad. I don't want to watch this. Like, I also know about it, and I want to watch something that I don't necessarily know about.
Oh, okay.
And, like, some crime that I don't necessarily know about. And speaking of that, Casey Anthony made a TikTok, so that's fun.
Who?
Casey Anthony. You don't know about Casey Anthony? Come on, you know about Casey Anthony. She killed her baby or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't remember people's names.
Yeah,
especially people who kill their babies.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, she was in Florida, she in Tampa or whatever. She killed her baby.
Okay. Well,
and
Florida, obviously.
Yeah. Anyway, like, she made it, but she's this, like, social pariah. Like, everyone hates her.
Oh yeah, she killed her baby.
Like, the trial was so much in the public eye, and everyone just took one look at her and went, she did it. That's it. Everyone knew it. I could just show you a picture of this white lady and everybody would be like, yep, she did it. She killed her baby. And then lied about it and hid the body and blah, 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 whatever.
Sure.
So like,
sure.
but apparently she made a TikTok and was just like, still the same shtick of like, justice for my baby. And I'm like, ho, just go away. No one likes you. Like, literally, you are alone. But also, that's the saddest thing ever. Like if I really think about it, that's really terrible. But it's not like OJ. Okay, let's get into that because OJ did it. He's dead. We could talk about it.
He totally did it.
He did it, dude. He freaking did it. Okay. But so when OJ did, he went away for years, right? He went away for years. And then he got a Twitter account and everyone liked it. Everyone was like, hey, it's freaking OJ. Like, what's he going to say? And like, not enough time has passed. Not enough time has passed, I don't think, for Casey Anthony. But also, like, that'd be like George Zimmerman coming out with a TikTok and being like, hey, I'm an ally. Like, that'd be crazy. No, you're not. Shut up. You shot that black boy. Dude, stop. Like, don't. Right. You can't do that now. Everyone hates you. Anyway, that's my stupid rant. So anyway, I'm trying to watch some true crime. I don't know what to watch. So I turned this on. Because I had heard that it was more them actually telling you how to do it. And slightly encouraging you like, to do it.
Are you just like holding on to the information just in case the apocalypse happens?
Yeah. And
when no one else can watch it because it's streaming?
Yeah. And part of me I was like, no, there's no way that it could be that. But that's the angle. Like, wow. And I think it's a good angle. It's at least an interesting angle.
Yeah.
To instead of go, hey, here's what these cult leaders did, and like the rise and fall of these 6 cult leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of that, they were just like, oh no, we're going to basically give you a video textbook on what to do. And then spoiler alert, at the end, we're going to be like, hey, you should do this. Like,
now's a good time.
Now's a perfect time. Like, that was crazy. That was a great way to end. I did laugh a lot. And, yeah. So I watched that. And like I said, I've been getting back into watching some wrestling,
It's pronounced wrestling.
I know. I'm so sorry. To all the true fans that are out there, I've been getting back into it, watching Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
I was surprised to hear that The Rock and Mr. Other guy, what's his name?
John Cena.
John Cena are doing the wrestling again. Or they have they always been doing it? Are they that hard up for money or?
Technically, I mean, nobody's ever officially retired. The Rock went on to do movies and kind of just faded away a little bit. And then John also did the same thing. And they would pop their head every now and then just back in. But, now they're teaming up. So John is officially retiring. Like, this is his last year. And so he's doing the John Cena farewell tour.
Oh, so he is going to quit.
He's officially going to be done. And yeah, because he's like 40 some years old. It's time to be done. Like,
right.
You're breaking in half each week. So you need to call it quits. So I don't even know how old John is, but whatever. Yeah, I think The Rock actually is on the board of directors.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. And, but I grew up watching it and everything's on Peacock now.
Oh,
so I can go back and watch all of the pay-per-views and whatnot. And literally just before we hit the record button, I was watching the 2001, or was it 2001? What the heck was it? Yeah, the 2001 King of the Ring pay-per-view. So
I watched it when I was little, like back when it was like all the way back when the Hulk Hogan was like it was a big deal, and Brandy Savage, is that right?
Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage. I think I even had a couple figurines or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I grew up and moved on to serious things like horror movies about clowns.
Yeah, like a normal person would.
Like a normal person, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's basically all I've watched. I don't think besides my second assigned movie. Yeah, I watched no horror movies. I've also been battling a cold. I'm at the tail end of it now.
Yeah.
It's all sitting in my chest, so every now and then I will hit the mute button and hack up no mucus, because apparently my body doesn't know how to do that. I'm 37 years old and my body can't hack up. I never could do it. Everybody would be like, really? "Oh, Zach, hack a loogie." Can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching a lot of TV lately. I've been doing fewer movies for some reason. And I've watched, I think, here's why. I keep coming across movies that I want to try. And I have like 4 or 5 movies that I got like a bit into, and I just couldn't do it. Just could not do it. Like one that I was kind of excited about because I wanted to assign it to you, and Prisoners of Ghostland. Have you heard of this? It's a Nick Cage movie.
I feel like I have heard of this movie.
It is the most. So I got about maybe a third through it. I tried.
A third is not far.
2021 movie. It's on Shudder. It is so ridiculous, and like, I don't even know how to describe it. I showed it to Christy. It's like a couple clips. She's like, "Make it stop."
Okay,
it's so bad.
How much would you hate me if I made it through this movie and then I assigned it to you?
I mean, that's your prerogative. Part of me wants to.
I want to try it. I want to see if I could do it.
Part of me wants to keep trying to watch it because it looks interesting, like the plot. But
I think you want it to look interesting.
In the treacherous frontier city of Samurai Town,
okay, that's
a ruthless
enough.
Bank robber is sprung from jail by a wealthy warlord, the governor, whose adopted granddaughter Bernice has run away. Strapped into the leather suit that will self-destruct within 5 days if he doesn't find a missing girl, the bandit sets off on a journey to find the young woman and his own path to redemption. It's a Shudder exclusive. And they even put little charges next to his nuts, and the guy's like, if you don't come back in time, there's a charge will explode. There's one next to each testicule.
Okay, so I need the timestamp. I want to do this small competition with you. I need the timestamp of where you stopped, and I want to see if I can make it to at least that, and if not beyond. Because it's a Nick Cage movie. I just felt my
IQ dropping through the floor, man.
I know. It's going to be great. Well, you say that some of the best horror movies are the movies that you just turn your brain off and then you just get to watch.
True.
But the problem is that there are movies where your brain starts to ooze out your ear a little bit. Because your brain turns to mush.
There's a minute. This is an hour and 42 minutes long, and I got 22 minutes in.
Okay,
so not a third, but like they set him off on to find this woman, and he goes, like they give him this fast car to get in, and he drives the car a little bit, and he jumps out of the car, and there's like an old lady's bicycle. He jumps on the bicycle and takes off on the bicycle in his leather suit.
That's such a Nick Cage
with
move.
Explosives in it. And then like all these people around him, like they suddenly start singing this, like that old nursery rhyme, like the grandfather clock stood in the room, and it's fun. Never to come again. The old man died. It's like they're singing a song. No context, no reason. They just start singing it, and then they stop singing it, and then nobody says anything about it. They just move on with life. It's like, why did you? And it's like they sing like 3 verses of it. I swear. Whew, I'm okay now.
Wow.
And then I tried to watch Irreversible, and which is also on Shudder.
Okay.
It's one of these. It's like kind of like, from what I understand, it's kind of like Memento, where it's timey-wimey. That's not all in the right order and stuff.
Timey-wimey. Okay.
And but I got about 10 minutes into it, and the camera work was making me sick. It's like every time they go to some place, it's like goes up and down, and like it flips upside down and curves around, and then I found out like everybody's like, well, I watched the rape scene and I couldn't make it past that. I'm like, well, I don't want to see that then. I don't need to be seeing that. That sounds bad. And then I tried to watch. We did watch. Christian and I've been watching Mo. M-O. It's a really good TV show. It's not horror. It's on Netflix.
It's about
But a
the Three Stooges.
It's a Palestinian guy. As Mo is short for Mohammed, and it's a comedy show, but it's really good about him like being an undocumented Palestinian, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And his case has been waiting to be heard for 22 years or something crazy. I've been rewatching The Good Place, watching I Think You Should Leave. So I'm doing a lot more comedy stuff these days. I tried to watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Why?
Well, I saw something about it, like in Eli Roth's. I've been watching the Eli Roth's documentary series that's on Shudder. It's been really good. Not a big Eli Roth fan usually, but I got like halfway through it, and it's just like, there's no plot. It's stupid. It's just
like every other Eli Roth movie.
Well, he didn't do Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is the one that from 1980 where people actually were brought up on charges of murder.
Yeah.
So people thought that was a real movie.
It's like a banned movie. Or at least it was a banned movie before the internet.
Yeah, and so Eli Roth made The Green
Inferno. Yeah.
Which is about the documentary that people were shooting when they died. Haven't seen
it. That is a why. I did not make it all the way through that movie.
Really?
No way.
And then I think I mentioned 3 from Hell and Lords from Salem that I tried to watch, which is just more, Rob Zombie. I've been watching Ghosts, which is really good. It's a comedy on CBS /
That's another one that I need to get into.
Yellow Jackets, we've been watching that. We've been watching Slow Horses. It's on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
I had
Gary
to watch it
Oldman?
Yes. I haven't watched it. I didn't watch it for so long because the slow was in the title. It sounded slow. It's not. It's a very good like spy thriller thing.
So you're saying that the title's misleading?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're watching Rick and Morty?
Yeah. Trying to catch up, but like the new season's coming out or it's out. I don't know.
I don't think that I finished the last season. The one that was 6. Controversial because
is that the all of them?
No. I say controversial because they fired that guy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was brought up on charges. It was so freaking stupid and bogus. He was brought up on charges that he did these things that were not great, and then it was found out that he didn't really do those things, but networks got spooked and they freaking fired him, and he was the voice of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
And then they hired 2 other guys. And
I never listened to the details of why he got fired, but
I think I watched the first episode and was like, because I was trying to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I could kind of, but not really. Because there's a difference between doing somebody's voice and having the heart and soul of the character.
Right.
Because the voice is already there. You are the voice.
Right. The guy who does Morty is fantastic. It's indistinguishable in my mind. the guy who does Rick is not quite as exact.
Yeah.
But
So
I think we'll get used to it.
I didn't go through that whole season. Not because of the controversy, but also not because of the controversy.
Yep. not.
Well, it probably played something. It probably played into it somewhat, maybe, but also just life.
Yeah.
It's also a weekly show.
Right.
I would forget that it exists. A week is too much time for me to remember that my show's on at 9.
Your
Too much.
stories.
Yeah, my stories.
Gotta watch my stories.
Yeah.
Ah, boy.
So yeah, that's what I've watched. That's what
Yeah,
you.
I also watched my movie, Return of the Living Dead, which we'll get to.
By the way, that is so much that you watched. Can I just say that?
Well, I'm not watching like all of those things. Like one episode of a couple things, here and there. I tried to watch Daybreakers as well.
Daybreakers,
which is a 2009 movie. In 2019, the year 2019, a plague has transformed almost every human into a vampire.
What?
Faced with the dwindling blood supply, the fractured dominant race plots their survival. So they're running out of people, and they need human blood, or else without human blood, the vampires turn into like these, like basically like a Nosferatu sort of thing with wings, and it's like animalistic.
With the
They
mustache?
don't want to do that, huh?
With the mustache?
No, like the way the Nosferatu is supposed to be.
Wow.
It's got Ethan Hawke and Sam Neill, Willem Dafoe, but it is just slower than like molasses.
So you made it through 22 minutes of Ghosts or Prisoners of Ghostland.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you make it through Daybreakers?
Let me say half.
Okay.
Got through half.
So 40-some minutes. 50-some minutes of the movie.
Yeah, about 50.
It was just slow.
But it wasn't bad. It was just slow. Oh, my word.
You know that the 10-second skip button exists. You just skip to the third act.
I mean, everybody, it's like we got really good reviews everywhere, so I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. But other than that, my week's been all right. I'm looking forward to hearing about your movie. Which one of us is first today?
I think I went first last time. I think you're first this time. All right.
Well, I wanted to hear what you said about Scream 7. Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to jump ahead.
No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. Okay. Like I said, I got one loose marble rolling around up top because I forgot why I wrote this down. Okay. So I don't like the assumed plot for Scream 7. I'm not a fan. Because I say assumed because we don't really know what the plot actually is. We're just making an assumption based on all of the characters that they're bringing back and the amount of characters that they're bringing back.
Right.
And the fact that every single one of those characters is basically dead. And so, we're the assumed plot that I'm not a fan of is the AI plot.
I haven't heard this.
Okay. They are assuming that Ghostface, I think that this is the at least one of the angles, is that Ghostface is using all of those dead characters in the voice modulator. I need to do a little bit more digging on, because there was a specific clip that I watched, a specific reviewer that described this AI plot that really put it a little bit more concisely than a lot of people have. And it made me not like it for one main reason. AI horror movies are new.
Like movies that like use it as a plot point, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Every AI plot point typically is an actual tangible AI like Megan coming to hurt you.
Okay.
That is stupid for Scream 7. Like, could you imagine Megan, but in a ghost face mask, being the killer? Or a killer being so technologically savvy that they are making in their stupid little horror Santa's workshop some sort of mechanical robot that is killing. Like, it doesn't make any sense based on what each Scream movie, the different horror tropes that each Scream movie is highlighting.
Well, that is a horror trope, though. I mean, there's a lot of movies about AI,
Right.
going bad.
Okay, fine. But tell me how it could actually work then. Because it's commenting on, it could comment on the AI stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence. It could comment on Hollywood wanting to use actors' voices post-mortem, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that would be dumb. Why would it, what?
It's not common enough.
Like, I mean, technically, you could go, if these characters, Stumacher, whatnot, if Matthew Lillard was cast in the Stab franchise, then you could go, and this is the problem with one marble rolling around, is that I told you before, is that you have 100% confidence but 5% knowledge. This is the beauty of it. Is you maybe could go. So Stumacher was a character in the original Stab movies, and he died. I don't think he died. That's just me. Stab
okay.
is the
Yeah, just making sure I was following.
Yes. So he died.
Okay.
And the AI angle is that Hollywood wants to use Stumacher's voice in the new Stab franchise, but the actor, like, post-mortem, but the actor won't release the rights or whatever the case is, and the real life Ghostface is like, it all falls to pieces for me. All of it just simply falls to pieces for me because it's everything is focused. Though it's real world, everything is focused on horror franchise, like ridiculous horror franchise tropes. And it typically follows the rules by which those horror tropes or those horror movies are established. So, like, for example, the very first Scream deconstructs slasher movie rules, particularly those of the 70s and 80s, like Halloween and Friday the 13th,
right? That
lay out rules like don't drink, don't do drugs, don't have sex, never say I'll be right back. Like, so
right.
that's what it tackles. Two,
right, it's satire, right?
Two, Scream 2 focuses on the rules that typically most horror sequels follow. 3 comments on horror trilogies and the rules that they typically follow.
Right.
So for you to say that Scream 7 is going to comment on AI is not a rule that horror movies follow. It is a subgenre of horror movies that exists, but it doesn't follow the same type of shtick that Scream typically follows.
I have an interjection.
Please interject on my completely ridiculous
permission for interjection.
Yes.
I think that it's possible that it might be that I mean, one could argue that the trope / rule in an AI movie is that the AI will always turn bad. I mean, I've never seen a movie where the AI doesn't turn bad,
Right. It's
except for
it's all propaganda.
spoiler alert, Companion. Well, that she does go bad because he makes her go bad. She doesn't like go bad on her own, right?
No, I don't think she goes bad at all.
Well, I mean, she murders a guy because
that's out of self defense.
Right, I know, but he turned way up he turned her dial way up for her aggression, right? I don't know.
Technically, yeah, but
way,
she was sentient enough to realize that was wrong.
Right. I mean, like Ex Machina, that happens. She like kills everybody, right? Or tries to. It's like all these AI movies. The AI always goes bad. All the way back to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Open
With
Hal.
Yeah.
Hal.
Yeah, but still, all of those AIs are physical, tangible AIs, except for Hal. Hal is a non-physical.
Like he doesn't have arms and stuff.
But that's my point.
He can do stuff. He can like open and close doors and.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah, he could do that because he's the computer that runs the ship. But so you're saying that Ghostface could be a Hal-like killer,
or
it's either a Hal-like killer or a Megan-like killer,
or if they're going to red herring it and make you think that that's what it is, and it turns out it's like a big joke that's not a thing at all. Everybody thought it was an AI.
And then Freddy Krueger wakes up. I'm still rooting for that. I think that'd be great.
Be fantastic.
Okay. Number one, just because I can't envision it does not mean that it should never be. Okay. Because I'm not that prideful and arrogant to think that the world revolves around my
It's good to hear that. Yes.
Okay. I want to admit that. Number two, I also am saying that I don't fully know and can't fully articulate what other people have articulated in their assumption of what the AI plot point actually is. I like the angle. I actually don't like the angle that they're bringing back all of these characters just to use them in the voice modulator. I actually like the plot point of we're going to retcon everything. And we're going to start over. And we're going to comment on horror movies doing that. Like the 2006 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
Or the whatever the Friday the 13th was right after Jason X.
Right.
Where it retconned everything. And or the 2018 Halloween movie where we retcon all that came before it. I like that idea for Scream better than the AI plot point. AI could be commented on in the movie, but I like the retcon being the main plot point, because then you that would completely justify why you would bring back all of these characters. Now here's the problem with that is that you're bringing back all of them. So the only thing that makes sense to me is New Halloween or New Nightmare. Where these are real people.
Oh, interesting.
And Ghostface is really going to kill the real people. Like
Courtney Cox is going to get killed, not Gale Weathers.
Yeah. Like Stu Macher's not going to get killed. Like Matthew Lillard's going to get killed. Like Matthew Lillard is coming back as... Because I don't know that any of these people
Well,
have at this point.
again-
Any of them have script names outside. Like I don't know that it's Roman Bridger coming back.
Yeah.
I know that it's the actor who played Roman Bridger.
What does that poke fun at?
It pokes fun at. What do you mean? What does it poke fun at?
Like, well, where does AI come into that? You should
AI
say it doesn't.
AI doesn't. I like the plot point
if
of,
they're not gonna
of the
satirize-
retcon.
Okay, if they're not going to satirize AI, what are they satirizing in your version of things? Because they have to satirize something. They got to make fun of something.
No, this isn't Scary Movie. They don't have to satirize anything.
No, I mean, you just talked about it, all about how they like satirized and made fun of the trilogy and the Final Girl thing.
They're just simply commenting on all of that. Like that
Right,
that's
what
the
I mean.
main main plot point of all of those
what are they
movies.
commenting on in that version of the story from your perspective?
Horror movies retconning. And
just in general, okay.
fully starting over. Because here's the thing. They also tried to go trilogy with Samantha Carpenter.
Okay.
In 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7 were supposed to be about Jenna Ortega and that girl that I can't think of her name right now. Sam Carpenter. Who played Sam Carpenter? Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
What's
freaking
the
right
name?
there. Melissa Barrera.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Melissa Barrera. I think they were supposed to do that trilogy. But then, Spyglass did their thing with Melissa Barrera. And Jenna Ortega blew up and got crazy massive.
Yep.
As a celebrity and as an actress. She's wanted in everything. And so her schedule and so Scream 7 got delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and then they ran into issues. Spyglass ran into issues with, oh my gosh, what is my brain right now? Who's the freaking original? Who's the final girl? Oh my gosh,
Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell. Yes, they ran into contract and money issues with her in Scream 6. So and now we're bringing her back in Scream 7. So I think that what makes better sense is that Scream 7 is not going to tackle AI in horror. Scream 7 is going to tackle horror movies retconning themselves.
Okay.
And that is going to be the major plot point. I've taken way too long to talk about this. Let's freaking move on. Oh my gosh. I clearly needed to work through all that. Again, this is what happens when you have one marble rolling around in your head. And I didn't prep, and I'm talking live through everything. So.
It's Therapy with Zach.
It's Therapy with Zach. It's Therapy with Zach.
This has been Therapy with Zach.
Thank you for listening.
Kind of felt like a therapy moment. I mean,
it did. It very much.
You work through your issues,
I have to work through them. So this is it. That's it. All right. Anyway, Steve, take it away with this the Guardian thing that you got going on.
Yeah, just an interesting thing I saw about longer pre-film ads wasting time of frustrated cinema fans, and I will lump in trailers with that as well. In the past decade, pre-film reels have extended to about 25 minutes for ads and trailers. And people are tired of it. They're sick of it. That's basically the whole article. Just more validation of what we've been saying, and how people, now that they're doing a lot of theater, most theaters, at least in my experience, are doing the reserve a seat thing, specific seat.
Yeah.
Now that they're doing that, mostly thanks to COVID, it seems like, then people are just showing up later. Like, oh, I got 20 minutes. I'm not going to bother. Because I got my seat saved. Might as well just get there when the movie starts and then stand in line for the popcorn or whatever. And so nobody's seen the ads anyway, or they're just tuning them out, So
I read this article that you posted, and I have a thought.
Okay.
I have no foundation for this thought.
I mean, why would you need one?
Yep, 100% confidence, 5% knowledge. That's the title of this episode. For a long time now, we've heard the thought that theaters are dying and the movie industry is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because people aren't going to the movies anymore. This is the shtick. This is the spiel that everybody goes on. Is nobody's going to the movies anymore. And I think that this is we've seen the rise of those movie theater subscription services like Cinemark Movie Club and the AMC Butthole Munchers or whatever they're called. I don't know, dude. I don't know what they're called. Screw AMC. Screw them. They're a trash movie company.
Yeah.
I like Shudder. Shudder's fine. Okay. And I enjoyed The Walking Dead when it was on AMC. Up to a certain point, and then just got beat a dead horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, is enough.
Yep.
Anywho. End of that rant. So, beginning of a new one. I think so we're talking advertisements like from Samsung, not movie trailers, right?
Right.
Okay. I think you have to go there because you have to chase the money. If movie theaters are actually dying, then who is going to pay to keep your movie theater open?
So I get it, but that's why I don't want to go.
I'm not saying that it's a reason I'm not saying that it is a reason to go. Advertisements are first off everywhere. Okay.
Right.
And, Casey and I we can watch 2 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine back to back, and I will guarantee you that we will see the exact same commercials in the exact same places between those 2 episodes.
So,
Like,
I've said
just
before,
get sick of episode. We could get sick of all of that stuff, but and you can even get rid of all of that in your Peacock subscription. I can go Premium Plus on Peacock, or I can go ad free on Netflix, or whatever the case is, right? But you can't do that in a movie theater. You're forced to kind of go through it. So the alternative is now we're just going to stand in popcorn line for a little bit longer.
For like I've said before on here, I go to great lengths to not watch commercials. I'm paying for all this stupid premium stuff that is probably not worth it. And and my kids, have to wear old socks, because of it.
Okay. Wow.
Not really. But I hate the commercials so much at movie theaters because I'm paying for a ticket already.
Mm-hmm.
And you're making me watch this stupid commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I can't get out. I can't get away from it. So unless I don't go to the theater until late.
Yeah.
Which, is still kind of a dicey situation, but I don't know. I feel like adding I understand needing money, but adding commercials to a movie where people don't want to go because there's commercials in it doesn't make any sense financially. There's no way these people can be benefiting from these theater commercials that they're paying for.
It's not about sense.
I know.
It's about money.
No,
it's about keeping the doors open.
But
it does. The end doesn't justify the means because you're right. People are.
Samsung is paying for the move for the ad. I don't think Samsung's getting anything out of that.
Samsung might.
I'm going to buy a Samsung instead.
Right. Here's the deal. Nobody's convinced the commercials in the first place. Commercials are freaking stupid and pointless. Advertisements for like a television show, yeah, maybe. But the latest iPhone's coming out. Shut your mouth. No one cares, Tim Apple.
Yeah.
Like we have our phones and we have our camps but nobody. I'm not going to watch the latest Toyota commercial and be like, oh my gosh, I have to run out and spend and give them $5,000 and pay $239 and get zero ARP. Shut your mouth. No one's doing that. So but the movie theater needs to stay open. Why am I getting so hot and heavy about this?
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you.
I'm yelling at you, but I mean to yell at them. Like
if I put my business hat on for a second, I do not like any kind of ad that is not trackable. It's pointless to run those. You don't have any clue if it's doing any good, and you can't track how many people saw your ad in the AMC and bought your phone. It's impossible.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
It's really hard, and you're not going to get good metrics from that. I mean,
I was going to say, because you can know how many people are at, how many people went to the how many people went to the 4:30 movie.
That ad did anything for you? I don't know that Zach watched it and then bought a Samsung.
Yeah,
I know that 20 people watched it, and then later the next day, 20 people in Ohio bought a phone. You don't know if that correlates to that, or was it the billboard you saw on the road?
Right,
it's impossible.
You're right. It's impossible.
I don't like talking about business.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm more tackled this article from the standpoint of it makes complete sense that movie theaters have gone to showing less trailers and more advertisements, because if there is any semblance of truth to movie theaters are dying, or whatever the case is, which is crazy, by the way. That's always been a crazy thought to me. Like, we pour billions of dollars into the Hollywood movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that the platform by which we get to see these complete works of art and sometimes complete dog crap movies, the only platform is dying?
It is.
What? Like, no.
That's why everything goes to everything opens in streaming and
Shot
online.
in IMAX. Make sure you go see it in IMAX.
Yeah,
IMAX movie theaters are dying?
Yeah.
No way Hollywood is going to let that happen.
When is the last time you went to a movie theater and it was full?
Okay, so Wicked was full. And there was another one that Casey and I went to. Oh my gosh. The Captain America, Brave New World was full.
It's so rare.
Heretic wasn't full.
Right. So the movie theaters are dying.
There was like 3 people in when I went to see Immaculate, but that was because it was at 11:10 in the morning, and no one's doing that.
Right. Well, like Paramount Plus or Paramount in general had like a $680 million loss last quarter, just because of their streaming systems. They're not making any money on streaming. They're not making any money on all these people living on debt. It's honestly, I'm not sure how the movie industry is holding up at all. Other than it's like a circle jerk, and they're all like just like handing out money back and forth to each other, and there's nothing actually happening. I don't know.
All right, well, this is now venturing into the bumming me out territory.
Yeah,
because I'm immediately going to catastrophize this and be like, life is a. Why is my picture frozen? Why is my video frozen? What's happening? Yeah, now I'm immediately going to be like, oh, well, if the movie industry is being propped up, and how is that? Everything's a house of cards, and I'm going to catastrophize the crap out of this situation.
That from an old man to a younger old man, everything is a house of cards.
Here's the deal, though. Hold on. Time out. Back up. I think it's all fake news. Hold on. How can it be a house of cards? How can it be we're not making any money?
Because money's not real.
Those things can't happen.
What do you mean?
You have money, and therefore you get to do a thing. And if you don't have money, you don't do that thing.
money's all fake. There's no such thing as money. It's just promissory notes back and forth. It's like the stocks go up and I'm like, oh, my stock's worth more money now. I sell it and I've got numbers on a computer screen and I give those numbers to somebody else. And now, oh, I've got more numbers on my computer screen. I'm going to go make a movie. And then the stock tanks again. And that money that was part of the stock that you bought is still worth $1,000 when you bought it for $100. And it's just numbers moving around in space.
So who's holding up the movie industry?
It's how the economy works. We're all holding it up by spit and hope. It's like such a house of cards. It's like it could fall at any moment.
Okay.
To add to your anxiety.
This has been Economy 101 with Zach. We need a new theme.
The only way that things keep going is if people keep buying stuff in a capitalist system like ours.
Yes.
And we have to keep buying stuff. And then when we buy stuff, the money goes to wherever it goes. And then we get more from our company because our company sold something to their company and their company sold something to the movie industry. And it's a big circular thing. And it's just all going around and around. You want to talk about some movies? I just want to talk about how there
only want to talk about this now. For the rest of my life, I only want to talk about this. But we can't. We have to move on. We have to talk about something else. So let's talk about our assigned movies.
Okay. All right, Zach. Moving on from Economy 101.
Yeah.
I am going to be reviewing and discussing the classic movie from 1985, and it is a classic, I think. Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Have you heard of this movie?
I have heard of this movie, and I've seen this movie. It's fantastic. Actually, I don't know that it's fantastic. I don't remember what I rated it.
3, I think you gave it 3, at least on Letterboxd.
It's not bad.
No. It's not bad.
I'll let you tell me. I'll let you tell me what it actually is, though.
So before you get into the whole thing, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 91% tomato meter and 80% popcorn meter, which is the viewer rating.
Correct.
7.3 out of 10, which is very high.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a horror flick. 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Steve's rating, it will be revealed in due time.
Okay. I was watching you type that out live, and I was like, oh, am I going to get it?
So, this movie is theoretically, spoiler-free version first, this movie is theoretically a direct sequel. Well, not theoretically. It is a direct sequel, storyline-wise, from the original Night of the Living Dead from 1970-something, 60-something.
That's close enough.
Yeah. And because it picks up the storyline right after it. And, well, not right after. It's like in the same universe. It's like 14, 15 years later. And in this universe, there is even a movie called Night of the Living Dead, which they kind of play it off as that was a real true story that happened, but they changed the name to protect the innocent, sort of thing. But in this movie, the basically the Living Dead return because the government misshipped some containers of zombies in vats, like hermetically sealed vats. They showed up in this like dinky little town in the basement, and this idiot dummy like worker in this medical supply company wants to show the new kid like the cool stuff in the basement.
Right.
And he like kicks one of these things. Yeah, it's so strong. The military made these. And he kicks it and it like busts open and they get sprayed in the face and yada, yada, yada. Things happen. And then the Living Dead have returned. And it's one of these movies that if you're a horror fan, you really should watch it. You know, it's one of these, it set a lot of the tropes have been determined by this movie, or started by this movie. The plot is basically like every other zombie movie. Something triggers the apocalypse to happen, and there are zombies. In this case, it's another movie that triggered the apocalypse. And then a small group of survivors bands together, and they kill zombies. And some zombies they kill zombies, and they kill each other for different reasons. And then it finishes up, and like everybody thinks that it's all done, but then there's like something at the end that's like, ooh, there might be a zombie left or something.
Yeah.
So if I were going to give this a review as a modern person, and if this movie came out today, put it that way, if it was released today, this would get a maybe 2 stars for me, maybe 1, because the acting is not great, the script is pretty lame, it's a pretty thin idea, but looking at it as from someone from 1985, it's a pretty darn good movie, because in a lot of ways it purposely is. It's one of these movies that it's clearly trying to be goofy. I mean, they at the end of the movie, they even kind of almost have a gag reel sort of thing, like showing like all the goofy stuff that happened in the movie, like ha. But so it's something of an icon when you look at it existing in its time. But so I would say, judging based upon when it was made, I think it gets 4 stars just because of what it did for the industry at the time, for the horror industry. Because this is around the time where like horror movies are getting big, and everybody's like pumping out sequels and stuff. And like this is the movie that is the origin of the zombies saying brains. Have you ever played Plants vs. Zombies?
A long time ago.
Yeah. And the little zombies, and then they're like brains. So that's these guys. So if you're a fan of zombies and purposely camping movies, you'll have fun with this movie. If you're like on the Oscars committee, you're not going to like this movie. And it's based, the first screen of the movie says it's based on a true story. So it's got to be a true story. So what are you going to do? It's like it gets a star extra from that. It's a true story.
It gets a star extra. So is it 4 then? So it's a 3-star movie. And because it's a true story, got a 4.
Don't overthink it, Zach.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But again, it's one of the movies that we now know what it. When I say to you, it's a generic zombie movie, same kind of plot. This is one of the reasons why, because this it wasn't a trope when these guys did it, not quite yet. It became a trope after this kind of stuff.
Right, they're defining all of the tropes.
Exactly. Right. So it's kind of cool that way. I mean, the more I have a couple notes about how it's purposely cheeseball. The mortuary where a lot of this place takes place is even called Resurrection Funeral Home.
Yeah,
all come back to life. And so interestingly, even though it's set as a direct sequel, it is not considered by George Romero to be an actual sequel to the movie. It's not canon in his mind. He has his own sequels to Night of the Living Dead. I think then Dawn of the Living Dead is, I think, a sequel of his, and but Return of the Living Dead is its own franchise. There's a Return of the Living Dead 2 and 3, etc. So it has ties to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, but it's not the same universe technically. So, should I get into some more details? A little bit more spoilery.
Yeah, you can do whatever you like.
All right.
Was that the spoiler-free section?
That was a spoiler-free section.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. There's honestly not a lot more that I could say that's like spoilery, because like I said, there's not a lot of real plot. Just I think some things I thought were pretty interesting were how the zombies in this refuse to die. And you can do anything to them. Even when the brain is destroyed, they're chopped up into little pieces, they're still alive. Like one of the first zombies that they kill, they literally chop it into pieces and put them in little bags separate from each other, and all the little pieces are moving around. They like axe a zombie in the head and it doesn't die. The only way to kill these zombies is burning him in fire.
Yeah.
And so they take the piece of his body to the morgue and put it in the morgue, but it just spreads through the air. Like it goes up through the smokestack, and everybody in the entire town is now affected by it. And then we got the zombie apocalypse. All the dead people are coming out of the ground. I think this is the first one. If I read somewhere, this was the first zombie movie that had everybody like all the zombies like really crawling out of the ground like that.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of the first. And these zombies, they can talk. They seem to have reasoning skills, like unlocking things and opening doors and stuff. And like, there's a couple of them that talk and say like brains, and other things like that. And okay, can I please talk about these punk teenagers?
100%.
These punk teenagers, dude.
Here we go.
It's possibly the most cringeworthy group of punk teens I've ever seen in film, ever. Because that's like a trope in the 80s and in the early 90s of like, there's a group of punk teenagers. We're bad guys because we're clearly punk people who are teenagers, but we're actually 35.
Yeah.
They go in this movie. The names of the punks are Trash, Scuzz, Suicide, and Spider. I'm sure Spider has a Y, but
why not?
And then they have a couple of normie friends for interest, I guess.
Yep.
And their dialogue was clearly written by an old man who had heard about teenagers at some point. He's like, I think this is what teenagers say. And they're over the top in every conceivable way. And one of the gals, Trash, she wears clothes for about 1% of the movie. Like the first scenes in the movie, Trash gets up on a tombstone, basically, strips to absolutely nothing, and does this dance. Like, what? It's possibly the most gratuitous example of just nudity in a film for no reason at all. And then the apocalypse happens right when she's completely butt naked nude. And
prime opportunity.
Poor thing can't put clothes on the rest of the movie. Sad. And then by the end of the movie, she's like a completely like ashen white skinned zombie with a giant mouth and is naked still. Literally zero reason for her to do that. I read
Don't
that they were
overthink it, Steve.
Just watch the naked lady on the screen, Steve.
Don't overthink it. You're like, well, there's no reason.
No reason.
Maybe some reason.
Well, there's a reason, but no internal to the plot reason.
No. Yeah.
And I read, I'm like, why is this woman nude this entire time? I actually Googled something like that, not on my work computer. And basically what happened was they wanted to be edgy because like everybody's putting out edgy movies. And that's why in the 80s, all of the horror movies had at least one topless girl for no reason other than to get the horny teenage guys into the theater.
That's the reason.
That's the reason. And they were going to have her be completely buck naked nude on this dancing part of it. And apparently the day they were doing that, some of the producers showed up on set just to what's going on? How's filming going? And the stodgy boomer producers were like, well, the older than boomer producers of the silent generation, whatever. The stodgy old guys were like, oh, she's too naked. You know, put something on that pubic area.
How can you be too naked? Like, it's a 1 or a 0?
It was showing. It was too much landscaping area down below, let's say, and they didn't want any hair showing or any clear. They wanted her pubic area to be as non-existent as possible. So what they did is there's no
good way to say the word pubic, is there?
No.
There's no
her
way.
downstairs,
You were
her
like
downstairs area.
landscaping, and then immediately went to pubic. Like this,
We're all adults here.
You abandoned. It's so good.
We're adults here. We can use technical terms.
Yeah.
They did
Spoiler
not want her
section. This is
vulva to be
spoiler section.
in the show. They're vulva haters.
Oh my goodness.
Anti-vulva. How many times can I say vulva?
Stop.
But so they quickly fashioned together this merkin thing that they put over her lady bits, and like they smoothed it into with makeup and stuff, so you couldn't quite see it's there. So if you watch the movie, when she's dancing, it looks like she's like a Barbie down there, like Barbie from the waist down. And that they joke about this in like reviews and interviews about the movie, about how she has like a Barbie pubic area or something, or Barbie legs. I forget what Barbie. I forget what it was. Anyway, Barbie.
Steve,
just like nothing there. No vulva. So that's why that's that way.
So that's why that's
the more you know, Zach. Yeah. Anyway, the dudes who get sprayed or turned into zombies, the older guy burned himself in the crematorium. I didn't expect that. Did you expect that? He's like, old dude, as he's about to become a full-on mindless zombie, crawls into the cremation chamber and shuts it on himself and dies. Which I thought was very...
I think if you're going...
honorable.
If you... Yeah. You don't want to get... What's the alternative? There's no good way. You want to go out on your own terms, I guess. You don't want to get eaten. That's wild. Torn limb from limb. That's possibly worse.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what but also I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And the survivors sort of stay alive, and they call the military, and the military comes in with tanks and stuff. And what's the solution?
Bombs.
Nuke the thing.
Yeah.
Bomb it. I mean, there's no other thing you can do except drop the nuclear bomb on it, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, we're going to lose the entire town. This town, it's either this gets out. Like, it's the trolley problem. It's the trolley problem. That's all it is.
Yeah.
We could sacrifice everyone in this town, or they could take over the world. It's one person versus 100 people.
Yep.
It's always one person.
Well, it's like, have you seen...
that's the answer.
Have you seen Army of the Dead? The newer movie?
Yeah, Army of the Dead. Is that the Zack Snyder?
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Netflix?
They're all in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And like all the zombies are contained to Las Vegas at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to just nuke Las Vegas, which should be done anyway. Let's be honest.
Don't nuke it before I go there. I would like to go at some point.
Okay. And I guess I know what kind of person you are.
You don't want to go to Vegas with me?
I've been to Vegas, dude. It's not worth it.
Wow.
Just feel like you have to like wash this like slime off you. It's honestly, it's worth going at least once. You should go.
I love that I completely turned you around. That's what she said. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Anyway, 4 stars from 1985, Steve, and 2 stars from 2025, Steve.
So what's the actual rating then? What are you going to give it?
3.5.
Because you are technically today's Steve. You're not.
I know. That's why it's a complicated world, Zach. I actually gave it 3.5 stars.
Good.
So that is the review. That is all there was to say about that. And yeah, what did you think of it in general?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it is just this wild dumpster fire. And it's interesting because you look back and you don't really realize that it's defining tropes because I'm looking at it post definition.
Yep.
Those things have already been defined. So I'm going at. I think it's very easy to look at it and go, man, they really packed this movie full of all these tropes.
Right.
Not thinking, oh, this movie is the definite. Like other movies,
They're establishing it. Yeah.
this is the dictionary,
Right.
and
Which
every
I
other
think,
movie is the definition afterwards. Like
right.
so,
Yeah. I think that
but
that's worth giving it a little bit more, you know?
so you adjust your lens at that point
Mhm.
and just go, okay, yeah. But you're right. I mean, a lot of the movie is over the top and ridiculous, but of course it is. Of course it is. I think when I got to the based on a true story, I might have paused it and went, hold on. And then you just settle into, oh, none of this is like, we have the ability. So let's go.
Right. We have the
And
technology.
they have the ability, so they did.
Yep.
And so, yeah. Also, if nothing has ever come before it to lay out guardrails, you're driving all over the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what's going to happen. And there are no edge lines
Mm-hmm.
because the road hasn't been paved yet. So you get to define, does it curve right here? Does it go straight through? Does it go over the mountain? Does it go under the sea? Like, where's it going? And
Right.
you just go everywhere. And for that, it's fun.
Right.
This is not a movie for you to. I think people go very artsy fartsy with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first George Romero is like this holy movie
Right.
that is untouchable and perfect, and George did so much for the zombie community and blah 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 that he can't do anything other like it, like he just so
Yeah. You can make it like a holy relic or something.
so you do like to go from that right
Mhm.
to this. This is just the rebellious cousin that nobody really talks about and everybody's ashamed of, but everybody knows that we all have fun when they're around,
Right.
but we don't like to admit it. This is that, right? Did I define that properly? Like
That's pretty
this
good,
is
yeah.
because the other one is this semi-serious movie,
Mhm.
you know, piece of film that is this one thing, but 1985 was its own thing, and the 80s was its own thing. And yeah, every 80s movie, I remember watching RoboCop.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that scene in the boardroom where the machine goes
yes.
crazy
Remember
and
that.
pumps that guy full of lead. And I went,
Mhm.
what the is going on?
Yeah.
Because it's so outlandish and over the, and everyone just sat there. You have these like 50 caliber rounds that are blowing this guy to freaking pieces. and then at the end, they drive like that person gets like put the sludge, like the toxic waste gets put in there, and the car drives and the person explodes. And I was thinking to myself, what is this movie? What is this movie? And then I thought, this is a 1980 movie. This is an 80s movie. All we did were quaaludes and make whatever we freaking wanted. We put it on screen, and that's what this movie is. Imagine, like, so it's outlandish, and it doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need. We're not thinking about, is the script good? You put it perfectly. You're like, this movie is this. If you like that, if you are on the Oscar committee, like, yeah, if you're on the Oscar committee, this movie's not for you.
Right.
If you like those types of movies, this movie is not for you. But if you are all about the spice of life and just having fun, Return of the Living Dead, like that.
Right.
That's about as good as it's gonna get.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's just fun. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to yours.
Yeah. Well, Steve, my movie comes with a bit of controversy because
Do tell. Controversy?
you assigned me a different movie than I watched.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well,
How did that make you feel?
I'm a baby. And Widow Zach didn't want to watch the movie that you assigned him.
I didn't know what it was like when I watched it.
Well, okay. Because it was 2.5 freaking hours.
And
I had to read the whole stupid movie. And I didn't want to. Okay? That's the truth. Is that I didn't want to. So you were like, well, you could do the skip. And I didn't want to. As soon as you said that, I was like, I don't want to skip. But I also don't want to watch this movie. And then you were laying on the thick guilt trips about this being my favorite movie, and I want to share with you.
It's one of the favorites, you know?
Yeah. So, anyway. So then you gave me some options of movies that I could watch. Left up to me.
Right.
So I chose this turd. Because if you're why watch a 5-star movie when you could just watch a 2-star movie? Why?
Wow.
Spoiler alert: this movie's a 2-star movie. Okay, that's Zach's official rating. I haven't even told you the title of the movie yet.
It has Frodo in it.
I know what it has.
Yeah,
but you know, that doesn't make it good.
Okay.
It's not a redeeming quality. Okay. The movie that I watched, the movie that I chose was the 2012 world-ending classic, Maniac. It's a remake from the 1980s movie of the same title. Okay. Directed by Frank with a C and a K. Get it together, buddy. And I can't pronounce your last name.
It's Frank.
I don't know. Frank K.
Calhoun. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. So, spoiler-free. Here's my spoiler-free review. By the way, the best part about this movie is going to be how articulate I'm going to be in my review.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I wrote it out like I'm in the 5th grade in this report. Okay. Directed by Frank K. This psychological horror film stars Elijah Wood as Frank, a disturbed mannequin shop owner with a dark obsession. The story delves into his unsettling psyche as he embarks, Steve, he embarks, just like Frodo Baggins embarks on a series of gruesome acts. He freaking kills women, okay?
Yeah.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah,
sorry, I can't get around it. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes. I can't be serious with this movie. Rotten Tomatoes, 53% upturned popcorn bucket. Everyone hated this movie. 44% audience score. Even more people hated this movie. 6.1 out of 10. I don't know how we got there. And 3.2 out of 5. Don't know how we got there. Sorry, IMDb 6.1 out of 10. Letterboxd 3.2 out of 5. Don't know how we got there. It is the most redeeming quality about this movie is the cinematography choices that they make.
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
The POV aspect. So here is my in-depth spoiler review for this movie. I wrote a tagline at the top of this review. We're a long way from the Shire with this one. This is Frodo's Guns Akimbo.
Okay, that could, yeah.
Okay?
That works
because this is post Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Much like Guns Akimbo is post Harry Potter. Okay? And let me tell you, if these actors play these roles that are so pivotal, like Rainn Wilson is Dwight Schrute.
Right.
You know, Bryan Cranston is Walter White.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't see anything but those characters when you see these people, because the character is so iconic. And the same with Daniel Radcliffe. Like Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter, no matter what. And Elijah Wood is Frodo Baggins. And so you have to break out of that mold. And what better way than to go from a wonderful, beautiful set of movies to this hunkin' piece of crap where you kill women in a remake of a movie that was not very good to begin with.
I mean, the remake had better reviews than this did. Why
are we remaking this movie? Like that immediately. So typically I did this with Little Bites, where I was like, I'm gonna go on the emotional roller coaster. I'm gonna start this movie out at a 5. And then I'm gonna slowly just chip away at this movie and rise with the movie and figure out where I land at the end of the movie. But this movie does not deserve to start out at a 5 because I saw the original.
Oh, you did?
Maniac. Not that good.
No.
It's not bad.
It's from 1980.
It's just not that good.
Yeah.
It is one of those
on your watch list.
That means I just haven't logged it away. I'm back into that swing where I just don't check things.
That's right. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Sorry.
Super fun. And I'm doing that specifically to ruin your life. So anyway, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I lost my train of thought. So I watched the original movie. Mm-hmm. Not because of this, but I had already seen the original movie. And this movie was on the 2012 version was on my watch list. And I was like, okay, fine. I just don't understand why we remade this particular one. Other than all right, Elijah's finally done with Lord of the Rings stuff. So let's throw him into. It's also I don't know. It also felt very 80s. Like this movie felt, even though it was made in 2012 or at least released in 2012, it did feel very 80s, which I don't know how you did that or why you did that. You could have made this movie very modern.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Dude, I don't have a clue what the heck is going on with this movie. Okay. Some positives. Let's go some positive route. The acting feels unsettlingly natural. Okay? Meaning...
That's a good thing, right? You said you're on good things, right?
We're on good things. The acting felt unsettlingly natural, which means that... which translates to a higher level of creepiness because Elijah really sold you on his part.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna really sold you on her character, and there was only one scene that was like, okay, there were probably more than one scene that was really bad acting, if I'm being honest. But there was one scene in particular, and that was when Frodo is in the bathroom. Frodo follows Anna's boyfriend into the bathroom because he's creeping
Hmm.
and possibly thinking about killing him because he exists. Right? And then Anna's boyfriend does the macho wacho thing. But the way that he does it is just bad. It's bad acting. Maybe it's not bad acting, is just the scene was not shot very, I don't know. There was something about that scene that I was like, this is not good. It conveyed the message that it wanted to convey, in the sense of like, because you're Elijah, it's POV.
Mm-hmm.
And so he walks up to you and says this thing, and so you're already, feeling a particular way or whatever. And but there was something cringe about it that I didn't necessarily like.
Yeah, the movie was very cringe. The whole thing was very, very unsettling. It felt like, in my mind.
And part of that unsettling nature, I thought, was Elijah's acting in this. I think that he did a very good job of selling you on the discomfort that he was feeling, and also on top of that, the POV nature, and you really only seeing Elijah through mirrors,
Yeah.
was also sold you on the creepiness factor and the unsettling factor and the psychological, mentally disturbed factor. I thought that was really good. I will say this: I never want to hear anybody else say that In a Violent Nature was a POV from the killer, because it wasn't.
He was following the killer.
This movie was.
Right. It was like through his eyeballs.
Because you were him. The camera was him.
Right.
But In a Violent Nature was not. Like, the POV of the killer. No, it wasn't. POV means point of view is through your eyes. Knock it off. Pick up a dictionary, dude. Come on. I actually thought it was a bold choice to do that, because you didn't need to do the POV and still convey all of that stuff, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somehow it worked. Like, when he crawled under the car and sliced that girl's Achilles, that was crazy. That was wild.
Mm-hmm.
Those shots those are really uncomfortable.
Ugh.
There's nothing that you can do about those. Like, the slicing of the Achilles is
that gets you every time I feel that.
Yeah, it's like stepping on a nail.
Ugh.
Like coming down the steps and stepping on something. There'll be times I'm taking the laundry downstairs and I'm like, if I need to make sure that these steps are good, because I cannot have a Home Alone situation on my hands here, or a Quiet Place situation here. No way. Mm-mm. So I'm typically not a fan of the POV, but in this particular case, I really liked it. I thought it amplified the, like I said, unnerving and dark atmosphere that you're in, and it also forces you into the killer's perspective when you didn't want to be there. You might have just simply wanted to watch a movie, and now they're forcing you to watch firsthand all of these, the drowning in the bathtub and the first kill where she gets scalped. Like, you're staring down the barrel of the gun, and it's unsettling. I'm not really too sure what kill factor stabbing somebody up through the soft tissue of your jaw would do. That was crazy to me. She died with the knife through here, and it didn't go through her hard palate up top. It only went through the soft palate on the bottom down here, like underneath her jaw, and then into her mouth. And No, because your trachea is here, like it's back further.
Oh, okay.
We're talking just under your jaw.
It didn't go through the top of her mouth.
It didn't. It stuck into the inside of her mouth. But even if it went through even if it broke through the hard palate, there's no vital organs. It's your nasal cavity.
Blade, yeah.
Right? But she died right there. And from the very first kill, I overanalyzed that. So we're off to a great start with the first 10 seconds of this movie, me overanalyzing. But why not? If you're going to watch a 2-star movie, then you may as well.
It's up to 2 stars now.
It was always 2 stars. This movie was always just a 2-star movie. Yeah. So this movie felt very 90s, even though it was released in it felt very 90s to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was released in the 90s, that would make much more sense to me. I'd actually probably give it more credibility. Like the 1985-ness of Return of the Living Dead is a 4-star movie. This is a 3.5, possibly 4-star movie if this is like 1997. But it's 2012. Like we've taken a big shift from the 90s at this point. And but I don't know where the director is stuck in. He might be just stuck in that 1990s era. Whatever. I thought the pacing was very solid. I was not bored during the movie. I didn't think that the movie. I think that the movie drug on in some scenes, but only because I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can move on. But the reason it stuck on those scenes was to be unsettling and force you to watch it instead of just moving on.
Right.
So for that, I didn't knock at any points or any stars or anything like that. So expectation versus reality. Besides the original, I didn't really have any expectations. I didn't watch any trailers or I guess have any prior knowledge to this thing.
Right.
There were some throwbacks and some callbacks to the other movie. So, should you watch it? It's pretty tough for me to recommend this movie. Okay. For a couple of reasons. Number one, this movie kind of borderline, or this movie borders on demonizing mental health or possibly demonizing mental health and mental illness and childhood trauma. And because he's going through childhood trauma.
Right.
It's undealt with childhood trauma and mental illness is what he's really going through. It's a mother complex and all of this stuff, right?
Right.
So if that type of movie is not for you, you probably should skip this one. And that's me saying that outside of the fact that this is a 1.5-star movie, by the way. I bumped it down. This is a 1.5-star movie. Okay? I love the fact that the more I talk about this movie, the less it gets. This movie is still garbage. That's the rating that is in our system. 1.5, still garbage. I'm going to leave it up to you whether you should watch this movie or not. I didn't hate it because there are 1.5-star movies that I hate. I know this is the weird part about this movie is that it was not good, but I was still partially entertained.
Well, the more you talk about it, the more you say things like the pacing was great, cinematography was fantastic, the acting was great, but it's a piece of crap movie.
It's a garbage movie.
You keep saying things great about it. I think that you didn't like it because it made you feel unsettled.
No, I have no problem being no, I shouldn't say I have no problem being unsettled. There are movies that are genuinely unsettling, but Okay, I'll give you an example. I was not unsettled when the baby's head was cut off of the coffee table and rolled under the chair.
That's just because you're messed up.
I laughed out loud.
No way.
Like, I paused the movie and I genuinely was like, that was wild. It's correct. It's a fake baby, Steve. I hate to break that to you. It's not real. It's not real. Also, none of it is. It's all.
No way, Zach. I had no clue.
I know. It's like I'm telling you for the first time. Geez. But I was incredibly unsettled when he tried to put that turkey baster in her lady bits.
Ooh.
And artificially inseminate her.
Hey, it wasn't real, Zach. The guy didn't really exist. You know.
See, that's what I'm saying. None of it is real. But one of those is a hilarious laugh out loud. And the other is too close to home.
Yeah,
shot so
disagree.
Well that I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy that I'm watching this right now.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on the baby's head falling off.
The baby's head didn't fall off. The baby's head got cut off by the coffee.
Cut off by the table. That's just.
It was the rolling, Steve. It was the fact that it rolled under the.
Do not miss your therapy session this week, Zach.
It rolled under the thing, and then the little tassels that were underneath the chair, they wobbled a little bit. And it was funny. It was funny, okay. Steve.
Oh boy! When you think you know somebody, and then they find joy at the baby's heads being cut off. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Time out.
You've been reading the Old Testament again?
I know. No baby's head dashed against the rocks. No, none of that.
So this movie, to me, in my mind, I gave it 4 stars, I think, because I thought this movie was fantastic. It was creepy as hell. It just really is creepy. And the fact that the POV nature of it, like the actual POV, like you said, it makes you like feel like it makes you feel like you're like inside his brain, inside his mind.
Yeah.
And the things, and you're right. His acting is so phenomenal in this because he plays this guy who comes across as super sweet, like Elijah Wood does.
Yeah.
And kind of a higher voice, and real nice, cute guy. And then he kills women and scalps them and puts their scalps on mannequins.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gross.
And he's restoring the mannequins.
Right. It's so dark. So dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for watching the movie. I'm glad that you found one that you could watch and like it or not. That's the most positive review I've ever heard for 1.5 star movie ever.
Listen, it doesn't need to make sense.
No, it doesn't. You like what you like.
It's not bad. It's not a bad. Here's the thing. I feel like a freaking loony.
It's not
saying
bad.
That
it's just
because
1.5 stars.
It's 1.5 stars. But I would be like, yeah, if you want to watch this, fine.
It's not bad garbage.
Yeah,
it's like recyclable garbage.
Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Steve. Okay. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a bad movie, but it's such a good movie. And this is slightly the same. It's slightly the same kind of thing. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, fair enough.
It is a paradox because it doesn't make any sense of why it exists. There's no reason for this movie to exist because we don't need a remake of this 1980s classic. We don't, because it's not a 1980s classic.
You're right, Zach.
But
we did.
But we got one. So what do you do with that? Well, you make the most of it is what you do. But even the most of it is still 1.5 stars. It's not good. And I don't expect anyone to agree with me. I'm fine with being alone on this island.
Well, let us move on.
I also may have been hopped up on cold medication. I don't know, Steve. I may have taken too much Robitussin.
Well,
who knows?
That answers a lot of questions, actually.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, let us move on to our next movies for next week.
Steve, I have an absolute banger of a movie for you.
I cannot wait.
Yeah. Here we go. You ready?
Go.
The year is 2005. Where were you in 2005, Steve?
Living in Germany.
Okay, great. I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
And this movie was directed by the late and the great Wes Craven.
Ooh. Okay.
This movie stars Christina Ricci,
Hmm.
Joshua Jackson, Jesse Eisenberg.
What?
The movie's
What
called
is it?
Cursed.
Cursed.
And it
Nice,
is a werewolf movie.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, it's on my list to watch.
There you go. This movie's called Cursed, and I genuinely cannot wait for you to watch this movie. I want to know what your thoughts are.
All right.
Like tomorrow.
Cool.
But not tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And also, I may have overhyped this movie. But I wanted to have some flair in it.
Christina Ricci, by the way, is in Yellow Jackets, by the way.
Yes, I believe I did know that.
She's really good in that one. All right. For you, Zach, I'm going to step onto your side of the aisle a little bit, and we're going to go back to the 1980s.
Ooh.
1981, specifically, the great and honorable director J. Lee Thompson, who brought us such wonderful movies as Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and the original Cape Fear and Battle for the Planet of the Apes and something else for the Planet of the Apes and probably something else for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And like 1,000 movies with Charles Bronson.
Dude, are you about to give me the 10 Commandments?
No, Charles Bronson. And you know who Charles Bronson is, right?
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, I hate everything he's in. I'm sure he's a great guy. Anyway, enough prelude. Happy birthday to me, Zach.
Happy birthday to
Happy
I've wanted to
birthday
watch
to
this.
me.
You said that this was like one of your you were like, I've had a real prejudice against slashers in the 80s, but this kind of turned it around.
It's pretty good, yeah. So it is a Tubi. You can see it on Tubi. Or not Tubi.
Okay.
Cursed. I'm gonna have to rent it. No big deal. Live.
You got to rent that one?
Yeah, no big deal. Cool. Happy birthday to me and you. And this is the one with the guy. The cover has a guy getting a shish kebab skewer shoved in his face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good one. Don't watch any trailers.
Well, I'm not going to watch any trailers. I'm going to go into this movie completely based on the movie poster.
Beautiful. All right. Well, happy week for you, I guess.
And you as well.
You as well. And we will talk with us later. Actually, that's what they say in German. Like, we will talk with us later. We will see each other later. No, you don't say I'll see you later. You say we'll see us later.
So how do you say that?
Wir sehen uns später. Morgen sehen wir uns. Stuff like that. Because it's one thing for me to see you, Zach, but it's more important to see us together. Isn't that beautiful?
Okay.
For once, the German language has something beautiful in it.
Wow.
And
that's what we'll end on. Okay, bye.
All right, listeners, that's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is @HorrorsYetUnseenPod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.